Hello, I welcome to UPSC Prelims Chaturya series of SHANTHA LAKSHMI IAS Academy, where we will discuss the daily prelims MCQs from the Hindu, Indian Express and PIB. Let's begin. The first question. Consider the following statements about GST Council. It is constitutional body under Article 279A. The GST Council is chaired by the Union Finance Minister. 1/3 of the total number of members of the council is the quorum for conducting a meeting. How many of the statement given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none. This was in news recently. The GST Council announced various recommendations relating to taxation, ITC claims and demand notices. About GST Council, it is a constitutional body responsible for making recommendations on issues related to the implementation of the goods and services tax in India. Article 279A of the Indian Constitution gives powers to the President of India to constitute a joint forum of the center and states called GST Council, consisting of Union Finance Minister as a chairperson, the Union Minister of State in charge of revenue finance, the minister in charge of finance or taxation, or any other minister nominated by each state government. It is an apex committee to modify, reconcile, or make recommendations to the union and the states on important issues related to GST, like the goods and services that may be subjected to or exempted from GST, model GST laws, principles that govern place of supply, threshold limits, GST rates, including the floor rates with bands, special rates for raising additional resources during natural calamities, disasters, special provisions for certain states, etc. Decisions in the GST Council are taken during its meetings. 1/2 of the total number of members of the GST Council shall constitute the quorum at its meeting. Each decision of the Council must be supported by a majority of not less than 3/4 of the weightage votes of the members present and voting. The vote of the central government shall have a weightage of 1/3 of the votes cast, and the votes of all the state governments taken together shall have a weightage of 2/3 of the total votes cast in that meeting. Secretariat. The Secretariat manages the GST Council. It is managed by officers taken on deputation from both the center and state governments, and the entire cost of managing the secretariat is borne by the central government. The ex officio secretary to the GST Council is the Revenue Secretary of India. The office of the council is located in New Delhi. So the answer is only 2, because 1/2 of the total number of the members of the council is the quorum for conducting a meeting, not 1/3. Moving to the next question. With reference to the Viability Gap Funding, consider the following statements. Grant provided to infrastructure projects that are economically feasible but fall short of a financing is referred to as a Viability Gap Funding. Only public entities are eligible to avail these funding facilities. Which of the statement given above are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 or 2. Cabinet approved Viability Gap Funding Scheme for offshore wind energy projects. About Viability Gap Funding, grant provided to infrastructure projects that are economically feasible but fall short of financing. Nodal Ministry, Ministry of Finance, provided as a capital subsidy to attract the private sector players to participate in PPP projects. VGF grants will be carried out through a transparent competitive bidding process, promoting a level playing field for both public and private sector entities. Funds for the scheme are provided by the government's budgetary allocation. Funding can also be provided by the statutory authority that owns the project asset. If the sponsoring ministry, state government intends to provide assistance over and the above stipulated amount under VGF, it will be restricted to a further 20% of the total project cost. Grants will only available for infrastructure projects where private sector sponsors are selected through a process of competitive bidding. Components of Viability Gap Funding Scheme. There are 2 types of components. Subscheme 1 focus on sectors such as wastewater treatment, water supply, solid waste management, health and education sectors, etc. Projects eligible to the finance under this category should have at least 100% of operational cost recovery. Central government would provide a maximum of 30% of the total project cost of the project as a VGF, and the state government sponsoring central ministry or state entity may provide additional support up to 30% of TPC. Subscheme 2 supports a demonstration or pilot social sector projects. Projects can be from various domains such as health and education sectors, where there is at least 50% of operational cost recovery. In such projects, the central government and the state governments together provide up to 80% of capital expenditure and up to 50% of operation and maintenance cost for the first 5 years. Central government would provide a maximum of 40% of the TPC of the project and also maximum of 25% of the operational costs of the project in the first 5 years of the commercial operations. So the answer is one only, because both public and private entities are eligible to avail these funding facilities, not only public entities. Moving to the next question. Consider the following statements regarding the methanol. It is known as a wood alcohol and completely mixes with water. Preparing methanol is based on the direct combination of carbon dioxide gas and the hydrogen in the presence of catalyst. Methanol has a high risk of flammability compared to gasoline. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none. The Kallakurichi illicit liquor tragedy that has so far claimed more than 50 lives is entirely familiar in its cause, sequences of events and aftermath. Such tragedies happens periodically across India in various states. About methanol, it appears as a colorless, fairly volatile liquid with a faintly sweet, pungent odor like that of ethyl alcohol. It is also known as a wood alcohol. It can completely mix with water. Production, preparing methanol is based on the direct combination of carbon dioxide gas and hydrogen in the presence of a catalyst. Increasingly, syngas, mixture of hydrogen and carbon dioxide derived from biomass, is used for methanol production. Benefits: lower production cost. Methanol is a cheap to produce relative to other alternative fuels. Improved safety. Methanol has a low risk of flammability compared to gasoline. Increasing energy security. Methanol can be manufactured from a variety of domestic carbon-based feedstocks such as biomass, natural gas, and coal. Applications: used to make chemicals, to remove water from automotive and aviation fuels, and as a solvent for paints and plastics, and as an ingredient in wide variety of products. Methanol has a low risk of flammability compared to gasoline, not high risk. Moving to the next question. Choose correct one with respect to the Barda Wildlife Sanctuary. It is located in the state of Gujarat. To develop Barda as the second home for the Asiatic lion, the state government implemented the Gir Barda project in 1979. Which of the statement given above is are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one or two. In a significant move that is expected to boost the long-term conservation of Asiatic lions, the Forest Department in Gujarat has started translocating spotted deer and the sambars from Gir Forest to the Barda Wildlife Sanctuary. About this sanctuary, it is located in the state of Gujarat. Rivers, there are two waterways, the Baileshwari River and the Jogri River, and two dams, Kambala and Fadora. Ethnic races such as Maldaris and Barwads, Rabaris and the Gadwis live in this region. To develop Barda as the second home for the Asiatic lions, the state government implemented the Gir Barda project in 1979. Flora, it is characteristically abundant floral diversity, which consists of good number of medicinal plants. The sanctuary boasts about 650 plant species, which comprise Rayan, Babul, Bear, Jamun, Amli, Gorad, Bamboo, Dav, Dudlo, etc. Fauna, leopard, hyena, wild boar, wolf, jackal, blue bull, rare and endangered spotted eagle, crescented hawk eagle, etc. So the answer is both 1 and 2 are correct. Moving to the next question. Recently, which institute has won joint second prize in the Trinity Challenges second competition for addressing antimicrobial resistance? Option A, IIT Madras. Option B, IIT Bombay. Option C, IIT Kanpur. Option D, IIIT Delhi. A project by IIIT Delhi won joint second prize in the Trinity Challenges second competition for addressing antimicrobial resistance. The Trinity Challenge is a charity fostering data-driven solutions to global health threats, partnering with over 40 organizations. Launched in response to COVID-19, TTC funds public challenges to enhance pandemic preparedness, awarding £5.7 million for innovative health solutions. So the answer is IIIT Delhi. Thank you. This is the today's session.